Dear student, welcome to the Business Studies class, part 14. Titled Scientific Management. Frederick Winslow Taylor was an American mechanical engineer who sought to improve industrial efficiency. In 1874, he became an apprentice mechanist, learning factory conditions at the grassroots level. In 1898, he joined Bethlehem Steel Company and rose to the position of chief engineer. He was primarily concerned with the efficiency of workers and optimum utilization of machine and other resources in order to build up a sound enterprises. He also emphasized the elimination of wastage and inefficiency by applying scientific devices. So, F.W. Taylor is considered as the father of scientific management because of his contribution to management. Next, scientific management. According to F.W. Taylor, scientific management means knowing exactly what you want me to do and seeing that they do it in the best and the cheapest way. Next, principles of scientific management. First one, science, not rules of thumb. According to these principles, each job performed in the organization should be based on scientific analysis and not an experience or hit and miss method. Taylors believed that there was only one best method to maximize efficiency. This method can be developed through study and analysis, and it should replace the rules of thumb. Second one, harmony, not discord. Harmony, not record. According to these principles, there should be complete harmony between in the management and workers, and both should be realized that each one is important. Taylor advocated a complete mental revolution on the part of managers and workers. It means that management and workers should transform their thinking. Third one, cooperation, not individualism. According to these principles, there should be complete cooperation between management and workers instead of individualism. This principle is an extension of harmony, not discord. Competition should be replaced by cooperation. Last one, development of each and every person to his or his greatest efficiency and prosperity. According to this principle, the efficiency of each and every person should be taken care of right from his selection. A proper training should be arranged for every worker. It should also be taken care that each individual should be allotted work according to his ability and interest. This will ensure their greatest efficiency and prosperity for both the company and workers. For example, nowadays many companies conduct seminar and workshop for their employees to improve their skill, and even employees are sent abroad to attend training programs. This part is completed. Thank you.